Hey everybody, it's Brandon, and let's continue to take a look at Mutant Crawl Classics products. And I say products instead of adventures because this is a supplement, and it's called the Data Orb of Metakind. It's number 8. It's by Jim Wampler with Tim Kask, the legend Tim Kask. And it's different. It's got a cool cover here. I like this. I like all their looks. This guy here, the chain. This guy's face is funny to me. It's by Stefan Pogue. It's pretty cool. There's nothing really to spoil in this. But it is available on Ttrpg if you want to pick up the PDF, and I just checked on Goodman Games website. If you want to pick up the print version with the PDF, I'll have a link down in the description, of course, like always. Y'all know how I do this. And this is a neat one. I don't think it's a must-have, and that's going to be obvious from just what it's about. It's either something that you're either going to be interested in getting or not. I do think it's cool. I do think it's a very powerful artifact of the Ancients, and it can do some really cool stuff in your game. And if you introduce it in your game, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I do think it's a thing where maybe if you're not a big, I have to get everything print, you can just get the PDF because it is more of the judge's, a judge's product that you kind of have control of, and you've got the tables to, to look at. It's nothing that, well, I guess adventures are always kind of judges' products as well. It's information. It's information. There's nothing to really, there's nothing to run with it. There's some art that you can show your players. But it says, for the first time, an entire 24-page supplement devoted to a single artifact of the Ancient Ones. The most holy of ancient relics, the Data Orb of Metakind, has been passed down between tribal shamans and mystic mutants from generations to generation for thousands of years. If you can successfully bond with the Golden Orb's AI, terabytes of arcane technological data can be yours if you but survive its use. For while knowledge is power, it comes at a price. It's $10. I think it's neat. Like I said, it may not be for everybody, but let's take a look at it. So we've got some cool art here. This guy's using it. A bunch of stuff's being flown about. It'll make sense here in a minute. It's a pretty wordy beginning to this when you're reading it. And so in essence, this orb, right, this golden sphere, it has passed through just thousands and who knows how many hands, tons of hands, lots of them, maximum hands, right? And it has, in essence, accumulated all the knowledge of the people that it has been in touch with. And so what you've got to do is try to, if you want to use the orb, there's going to be several different things you have to do. And that's what this first section is, okay? It doesn't seem like much, but it's a lot. And one thing I will say is this, that I wish they had done when they wrote this up. So if you follow it and, you understand what it's saying, and it does do a good job at pointing you to the correct tables, I wish there was just like a little outline that said, do this, do that, do this, do that, and then go to these tables, because the rest of it is these tables, and they're neat. Don't get me wrong. This is very cool stuff. A lot of cool work went into this, and it is a very interesting object. For the first one that you get, I'm not going to go through all the different steps, but just to let you know some of the things that are going to stop you, right, or things you have to do to interact with it. So you have to have a minimum intelligence. And it's quite high. 14 for a shaman, and it's higher for the other ones. A pure strain human cannot use it whatsoever. So that's interesting. And a lot of times this thing will zap you. You do something wrong, you roll low, it will blast you with some energy, it'll mess up your brain, it'll do a bunch of funky stuff like that. And obviously this is a lot of tables where the higher you roll, in the beginning, the higher you roll, the better it is for you, okay? So it is a tech level 6 artifact. The complexity modifier is 14, which is massive, of course. And it says allows the user one randomly retrieved data slice from the orb. Any previously summoned data slice may be accessed again at will by the same user. This makes this thing extremely powerful in the proper character's hands. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this. It says how to access and use the Data Orb of Metakind. So you meet the requirement. You are a shaman, mutant, manimal, or plantient. You're not a pure strain human, so you got that going. You're going to make an artifact check. So you're going to have to do this 14, this complexity modifier 14 with your artifact check. It says if it meets the threshold of a successful artifact activation, even if the artifact is not yet fully understood, the potential user is immediately granted a data orb access level. And that's going to be this table here. It says, which will govern all future orb uses, including further artifact checks if required. So that's very interesting. You can glow burn for this, and you're going to need to do that because some of these checks are very high, and that complexity modifier 14, remember that's going to be a minus to your artifact check roll. You can also use some luck too after the roll, so you can get higher up, okay? And the higher up, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a couple of things here. So let's pick the low one, of course. Unauthorized user, you're going to get shocked with electricity. You're going to be laughed at by your friends. You're going to be unconscious on the ground. They may draw on your face or something like that. So it's going to be funny, right? You may not try to access the orb again for 7 days, or same result occurs. So don't keep doing it, okay? And of course, as a judge, that's why this would be in your hands. You maybe don't tell them that, and they try it again, and then the same thing happens to them. They need to figure out they have to wait 7 days. So we'll go to the next one, identity unconfirmed. It cannot confirm the identity of the user. User may not attempt it. So it's going to just slow you down. You can't do it for 24 hours. And then identity is confirmed. So it recognizes the user. You may access the orb one time in the next 24 hours, but thereafter must reroll a new access level. Okay? So that's interesting. Let's go to this access zeta level. You may access the data orb one time per 24 hours, period, at a +1 access roll. And I gather that means that if you use this access level again, you get a +1 to it. It's a little bit vague about that, and maybe someone that knows more about it will clue me on exactly what that this is the access level, data orb access level table, so I'd figured that would be more on this table here. Now, let's go all the way. It's going to give you more times, 2 times, 2 times. And one thing that's going to be really cool is this. Merely holding the orb when you get up really high, like gamma level, merely holding the orb while running any wetware program will add +1 to all program checks. That's very helpful. It goes all the way up to +2. If we get the last one, omega, of course. User may access the data orb up to 4 times per 24-hour period. That's strong at a +2 access roll. Merely holding the orb while running any wetware program will add +2 to all program checks. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and somebody will, like I said, somebody will help me out here. This +2 to access roll. Now, I originally thought that maybe it meant whenever you're actually going to be rolling on the data and stuff like that, it's going to give you a bonus to your roll, but I'm not sure. Let me know. Let me know what I've getting wrong right there with that. So we've got that part done, okay? So attempting to retrieve. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to get information out of this orb that people have had. Who knows who it was that had it. You're going to try to take it out of there, okay? And so you're going to roll on this next table. Now, it's a lot of D20 plus intelligence modifier. That's what you're going to be rocking and rolling with this thing, okay? You can see it's for pretty much all these tables here. And so you're going to try to get this information out. And it could be something, if you roll really well, something that is specific to what you're looking for, what you need at the time. It could be something completely random, okay? So if you're searching for a specific information in the data orb, you're going to roll here. And let's look here at some of the responses. This 9 to 11. The data orb was unable to parse the user's request and responds with a random data entry. Roll on table 1-3 for a random category. So it doesn't really know what the heck's going on. It doesn't know what you want, and you're going to roll on this. And this is an important table here when messing with this data orb. So you might get that. That's going to be pretty normal one that you're going to get. This one here, it may say determine which information category is most appropriate to the request and roll for a random result on the associated table. So you get it. It doesn't know exactly. And if we go all the way up here, it says that the data orb has experienced a security access code malfunction. Roll a D3, 1 to 2. The security access failure was caught by a backup system and the appropriate data entry is recalled. Or 3, go to table 2-2, thought records of the ancient ones. It's kind of like a hidden section in the orb that you could roll up occasionally, and it's going to be pretty neat. And you can also get that even really low down here too. So if we go to 7 to 18, that's going to be a little bit more information there you're going to get. It says the data orb was able to interpolate the user's specific desired information request and calls for the appropriate associated data entry. If the data entry cannot be revisited, take the next lowest result. So that the higher you roll, the better it is. And then we've got our primary data category. So this is going to be, especially when we do like a random one. So quantum data core failure. User has tried to access a lost data slice that no longer exists. Neural feedback causes them to suffer a small cranial embolism for 1d6 of this. So again, it's going to mess up your brain, and you need your brain, so that's going to be bad for you. So you could roll up these voices of the past, and it's going to access the thought recordings of a prior possessor of the data orb. And this is very cool, and that's where you're going to see this right here. This is a D30 table. Okay, so I'm going to kind of jump back and forth, so we'll hit each one. So you've got this D30 table. It's got a cool bit of like little thing you can read out. Try to find a small one here. It says, you cannot lean on luck forever. This is number 17. But you always can't spend it when you're dead. And that time will come soon enough anyway. And it tells you whose memory that was, and that's kind of fun. The user gains 1d8 of temporary luck points, which fade away after 24 hours. So they're good bonuses here, okay? Maybe get an increase to AI recognition. Maybe get increase to missile attacks. Maybe get a bonus to armor class. Maybe +4 to armor class. That's really cool. You get a one-time do-over when rolling saving throws. And yeah, I dig it. This right here, user gains a temporary +20 to their next artifact check. It's great. I like that a lot. So it's just going to be fun to roll up and see what you get. Sometimes even on this thing, random is going to be cool. And that's going to embrace the MCC and the DCC type of game. And so you might roll up the thought records of the ancient ones. And you're going to go to, it's a recording of a scientist who invented and programmed the data orb. Okay, and you're going to go to the next one here. Thought records of the ancient ones. And it's going to kind of be the same thing again, and with different type of powers. And some of these are going to be quite strong. Some of these things can actually kind of backfire on you when too much information gets into your brain. But like if we look at number 2, the user gains 1 point of strength permanently to a maximum of 24. The data entry cannot be revisited by the same user. So you can't get it again, but hey, you're getting a bonus to one of your abilities. That's great. One of your stats. And a lot of those are like that. This is very strong whenever you uncover these thought records of the ancient ones. Artifact checks, all the way to like a 1d7 bonus to all artifact checks. You can get luck, you can get agility, you can get a whole bunch of stuff. And then here, that number 30, user may reroll all their stats, rolling 46 in order, dropping the lowest d6 roll each time, but must take these new stats, a new hit point total, using 1d4 plus class, hit die times level. And of course, you can only get it once. So these are just like big changes to your character. And again, with some cool kind of fluff, little saying there that goes with it. So we've done that one. Now we're going to go to the next one, miscellaneous technology. And that's where the next ones will be. There'll be a lot of technology here. Miscellaneous, power source, medical, weapons, and artificial intelligence. Just so we can kind of go through that, I'll show you some of the art here. What these do is these give you a deeper understanding of this type of technology. So miscellaneous power, we'll look at these. So like a comm badge, which is very normal to have in Mutant Crawl Classics. You've learned how to use the comm badge to summon a transmat beam. Unless PC is already familiar with the transmat stations, they will be randomly beamed to a transmat station at the judge's discretion. Or the energy cloak. It says PCs have learned how to use the energy cloak's native AI to reflect incoming energy beam attacks back at targets specified by the user. So you're able to use types of technology better. Okay, the multi-tool, sensor pad, and then here, Eureka. It says that you've discovered how to combine and engineer any two miscellaneous artifacts into a convergence device that performs all functions of both original artifacts. You cram them together and they work together. And it's going to be the same thing for here, power source technology. You'll be able to get a lot more a lot of power and abilities out of, cells, F cells, C cells. And then it's going to be the same for like medical. Meta shots, neuro shots, they're going to be stronger. They're going to give you maybe temporary hit points. This cure shot, it cures like anything, disease, poison, stat damage, or luck burn. Very cool. I like that a lot. And then you've got weapons and armor technology. Here, you can see more of the art. And so we've got, again, you're going to get just better action out of these weapons and armor. And then dealing with artificial intelligence, maybe cargo bots or companion bots. It says you can learn how to reboot the real people persona of a companion bot to a new random setting. So you can kind of redo them. Security bot. You've learned how to access security access override code for all security bots. And has only to speak it. It's almost like you're able to hack some of these. Improve them and hack them. And then you're going to have, as we're going to go back to our table here. So we're flipping back. So you're going to have the data slice transfer. So user has accessed the entirety of a data slice, and this is powerful, okay? So this is where you're going to take all those different tables, and you're going to be even better at it, okay? So it says, while shamans practice an oral form of advanced memory storage, no mind could be prepared for trying to contain information several orders of magnitude higher than possible for an organic brain. Still, Some make the attempt either by accident or assiduity, and the lucky ones come away still able to pronounce their own names. So let's look at miscellaneous technology. It transfers an entire data slice containing extra bytes of information on miscellaneous technology directly into the mind of the user, which cannot contain the totality of the data. So it's just too much for your brain. As the compressed algorithms in the data slice expands the user's mind, the user experiences a concussion. If the user succeeds at a DC-11 willpower save, they're able to quickly parse the data flow for the exact information they were seeking before the rest of the data slice fades from memory. On a failed save, the user merely obtains a random chunk. So you'll roll on that table 3-1. In either case, the user sustains 1d5 of damage from the concussion and suffers 1d3 intelligence loss. The intelligence stat loss will heal back over time at a rate of 1 point per day that the orb is not used. So you're going to be able to access the full table, the full slice in essence, like medical technology. You'll be able to access all this stuff. Now, granted, you'll be only able to use one of it, like as your normal use. Maybe if you've rolled up big and you do it 4 times in 24 hours, but you're going to have that ability, and it's going to be for all the different types. Okay, so we got weapons, artificial intelligence, and here is going to be the last one, which is the quantum core dump, and that's where all of it goes into your brain. Everything goes into your brain. So you know the answer to any question that was known by the ancient ones or their advanced AI. The user may make one free action based on the answer of that question for each subsequent round. After the first, in which the user attempts to retain the all knowledge bestowed upon them and use it, he must make a successful willpower save, or their brain and head spontaneously combust from the overload. That's not good. It causes instant death. You don't want that. The willpower save starts at DC 14 and increases by 2 every round. The user may release the direct connection to the entire data orb stored information at any time during the process, taking a mere 1d16 neural shock damage in the disconnection process. So, yeah, interesting. So you don't want your head obviously blown up, and that's going to be bad for you. And then we've got some more art here. We know who this guy is. That's fun. And then we've got this Makai heeds the ancient voices call, and that's the end. So it is a very cool supplement. I don't think it's something that you have to have, but if you're a completionist, it's obviously something you want to get. It's got cool art. It's a very neat item. It'd be fun to throw at your characters in your group, maybe down the road, just to see what they do with it, and just to have some fun and see what type powers they can kind of get out of this thing and what type of benefits they can get. So there it is. There is the Data Orb of Metakind. Very cool supplement for Mutant Crawl Classics. Thanks for watching.